Welcome to another Vintage League here. Today we're playing Raker Shops. I actually bought the Mishra's Workshops to be able to play these. Don't really play a lot of Mishra's Workshop decks, but today is a bit of an exception, so quite excited for that. And then we made a bit of a twist to it. Normal Raker Shops is colorless. We've tried to, with this build, add in some blue cards and give it a little bit of a more game now against some really fast turn 1 combo decks. Something like a Luris PO stock-up deck comes to mind that's quite strong right now. So we're trying to fit in blue cards, but we also just want to make sure we try and keep the threat density, a lot of the strengths of Raker Shops here. So it's a delicate balance. So I'll go through some choices here that I made to try and build with those caveats in mind there. So before we go any further, just to let you know, like all my recent videos, if you go down below into the description, you can skip around different rounds and see which rounds are live recorded and which ones I did replays on. In this league there were 4 live rounds, one that was recorded, so you can skip around down below if you see that. And let's get into the deck here then. So, and also if you enjoying the content here, throw a like and a subscribe, that would be appreciated. Okay, so a lot of the deck is just a traditional Raker Shops deck that's been doing really well in challenges and leagues recently, especially the last couple of weeks, February 2025, but been played for a couple of months by people like CRK. It's been picked up in a wider audience now and done really well. So the core of the deck here is you've got Glaring Fleshraker, which has whenever you cast a colorless spell, you make a 0/1 Eldrazi spawn that can be sacked to make mana. Whenever another colorless creature you control enters, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So that means that you've got 2 tops and a Fleshraker. You can keep playing the tops because they make mana from the Raker when you cast them, and then use that to keep drawing the other top and playing it with the mana that's created. And when the spawn's created, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So you just keep looping your tops, draw 1, play 1, draw 1, play 1, draw 1, play 1 from the top, and that will kill your opponent. That's a pretty cool combo here. But Raker's also just good with the other colorless stuff in the deck at making mana. So like if you have a Raker in play and then you play a Mox, you also get a ping and you also get a mana. So it's good at damage too, it's good at making mana. It's just a really strong card. It's also quite good in Legacy. And then we've got some cards that have been staples of Shops variants for a while now, especially some of the Aggro or Golo Shops kind of deals. Nettlecyst is an Living Weapon, where you get +1/+1 for each artifact and enchantment you control. You're playing a lot of artifacts that can be big, and if it dies, you re-equip it. Patchworks are really fun. 2-drop on the lower end of the curve here. Whenever you cast an artifact, you get a +1/+1 counter on it. It's got Ward 2, very nice. We've got Mystic Forge, which can also act as a top for the Glaring Fleshraker combo. So you can, with Mystic Forge in play, you draw with top, then you play a top from the top every time, and when you play them, you're making mana the same way, so you can go off that way. That's just a really strong card. Vexing Bauble, great one, restricted, and then a bunch of restricted mana here. The new card, that's been, I think it's a few months old at this point, but fairly new card, at least for Magic Online, is this one. Scrawling Crawler, very cool one. Beginning of your upkeep, so if you play it, you go to your opponent's turn, they don't draw. You wait until you get back to your turn, so you get first access to the cards here, which is nice. You and your opponent draw, and whenever an opponent draws a card, that player loses 1 life. So this is important. So you play this, you go to your opponent's turn, and unlike Orcish Bowmaster, they just take a damage right away when they draw. So it gets the additional, pings, kind of like an Orcish Bowmaster does, but it also just hits in their draw step. And that's important because let's say your opponent is on 2 life and they find Vault Key. This still just pings them every turn. So even if they have infinite turns, they still need a way to win or remove Crawler or else they will still just lose. The other thing is, the One Ring is a very popular card in Vintage, and this says an opponent loses life, so your opponent still takes damage when they draw cards with the One Ring, with the Scrawling Crawler in play. That is not true for Orcish Bowmaster, so they're pretty cool thing about this card. Big fan of this one. This was my first league playing it, but I've seen it a lot, and we'll see how it does. We'll start with the mana, and then we'll get into some of the blue cards I added that are not standard to this deck at the moment. So Mishra's Workshop's kind of the key piece of this deck. It gets all your fast mana out, all your artifacts out quickly. Notably, this does not cast Glaring Fleshraker, which is a little bit of an issue, or possibly with some of the hands here. But you have a lot of mana, and I don't think that's really that big of an issue, but it is something to be aware of. This doesn't cast a Glaring Fleshraker. It does cast your artifacts, though, including, Kappa Cannoneer. That's an artifact here. There's a Saga, great restricted card. Underground River. This is so that we have a colorless mana and access to blue at the same time. So Glaring Fleshraker, you need a colorless. And we've got a lot of blue in that deck, so this is one of those lands that makes both colorless and blue. And we're going with Underground River because we've got Leylines on the sideboard. So if you have 2 Underground Rivers or Underground River and a Mox Jet, you can actually hard cast the Leyline. It's not going to come up all the time, but I think it does make it the right pain land here to play. Tolarian Academy, broken artifact, mana for each artifact you control. Ancient Tomb is a good way of ramping out your stuff, kind of a mini workshop, and then also helps cast Glaring Fleshraker. Fomori Vault's one I'm iffy on. I've tried this in other decks before, and it hasn't been amazing, but I feel like it's quite useful. I kind of like it as a one-off, but this is definitely like a flex slot as far as the lands go in the deck. You could play a Talon Gates here that phases out creatures, could be better. But this one lets you take cards in your hand that aren't good, and dig into your deck based on the number of artifacts you control. We have a lot of artifacts to find stuff, and we are, a 3-card combo deck here, potentially, with the Fraker and the 2 top. So this, I feel like in theory, does let you try and dig for the win, but it is a little costly. So that one's a bit iffy. But this one I like a lot. So this one does a couple important things in here. It makes colorless mana and blue with that second ability here. It's legendary, so we're only playing 1, but the third thing is pretty cool. It's Graveyard Hate. So against Dredge or, even Luris, where they have graveyard stuff, you can exile their graveyard, which is pretty cool. And then you also, in addition to all of that, you get to return a historic card from your graveyard to your hand, which is artifacts, legendaries, and Saga. And as you can see, our deck has a lot of artifacts in it, and you can also just bring back a legendary, so like, which of these are legendary? Academy's legendary, yep. And then Saga. There's a Saga. So it can do some pretty cool stuff in this deck. I like this one. I didn't come up with this. It's been played in a little bit of Eldrazi decks, and I stole it from there. But I think it's pretty cool tech. So happy to use it here. And now let's get into the blue cards here. I don't think Ancestral Recall and Time Walk need any introduction. Sink in the Stupor is a good one. So this one's played in the Jewel Shops deck in Vintage, which is a little bit not as popular at the moment, probably because of how popular Raker is. I think not because of Raker. It actually has a favorable matchup into Raker Shops, but I think a lot of people have switched over to Raker. But this does a couple things. One, it makes blue mana, which is important. It pitches to Force of Will and Force of Negation, which is important. And it can bounce stuff, which is important. So it has a lot of uses here. The things you really want to bounce are things like Null Rod, Energy Flux, Collector Oof. It can also just return spells and hit other stuff that's just very useful. Just a tremendous amount of utility here. We've got let's do that one last. We got 3 Mindbreak Traps in the main. So when trying to work this deck out, I wanted Force of Will in the 75, definitely. But I don't think there's a way of putting Force of Will with enough blue cards in the main deck and still keep the power of the Raker Shops, which is just this very threat-dense deck. So what I've opted to do here, and in this meta, we've got a lot of Raker Shops, and we've got a lot of Lyris PO, and then some Doomsday. And some Mono White Initiative. And these are all decks where the Mindbreak Trap is quite good. So I like having those 3 Mindbreak Traps main. And then we can also just hard cast it later on. So in your opener you can, trap somebody, but then also we've got plenty of blue lands, so mid-game you can just hold open a Mindbreak Trap, which isn't bad. I think that's a good place to be, is no Force of Will main deck, because we don't have enough blue cards in the main, so we're trying to preserve the strengths here of Raker Shop, but we are playing three traps to try and hedge against some of those decks, especially if we lose the die roll. We're the ones that, even if we go first, can just, with our minimal disruption here, just win before we can. So that's the logic there, and we'll see how it goes. Kappa Cannoneer is a blue artifact, which is kind of, there's a few of those, but Kappa Cannoneer is a good one, and it fits in the theme here of the aggro side of things. Unblockable, ward 4, it's got improvise, so your artifacts can help cast it, so even things like tapping top can, quote unquote be mana to cast this, which is pretty good. Pitches the Force of Will. And then the last one's Paradoxical Outcome, and we're playing this over the One Ring. The One Ring is the normal draw spell in regular Raker Shops here, but we need more blue cards, so I was deciding between Stock Up and PO. I think you can defend Stock Up here. Stock Up costs 2 in the blue, Paradoxical Outcome is 3 in the blue, so this is a little bit harder to cast. This has a lot more upside though, especially with cards like Top. You can do a trick where you draw with Top, hold priority, and then pick it up with Paradoxical Outcome to draw an extra card. This can also just do like combat tricks. So like if your opponent's trying to blow up one of your creatures, you can respond with PO. It's an instant, so that has some utility. This Stock Up will get you 2 cards. The Paradoxical Outcome, if you got like multiple Mox in and a Top out and stuff, can in theory draw you, can go pretty crazy here. So that's why I went with Paradoxical Outcome. But I think Stock Up's definitely defensible here because the 4 mana isn't, the easiest to cast. But that's the logic there. In the sideboard, we've got Graveyard Hate here. And then the cages also can come in against Oath of Druids. Force of Will, Force of Negation are going to come in against the combo decks that we're afraid of. So the big point of having blue is to have access to Force of Will and Force of Negations in matchups where you really want that, like, say, Doomsday, like Lyris PO. And then we've got Steel Sabotage. So this one is kind of for the mirror. It can counter an artifact spell or turn an artifact to its owner's hand. So we're hedging a bit into one of the best blue spells here against artifacts. We can't play Energy Flux because we're an artifact deck here. So we're going with Steel Sabotage. The one thing this deck doesn't have is an actual removal spell like Dismember. I would like to fit in some Dismembers. I don't know exactly how to do that. It might be like trim a cage, trim a negation or a sabotage for 2 Dismembers or something. Maybe a third in here somewhere. I'm not sure. I think there's room to play around with it, but Dismember is probably the easiest removal spell to cast in this deck, I think. And that is one of the things that I think we are a little missing here. Anyway, again, before we start here, if you have any comments, put them down below on how this is constructed, any ideas, and yeah, let's get into the league. All right, we're up against Lord Beerus here. So they're usually playing Dredge and challenges, but not necessarily outside of that. So I think I will keep this. Could be a mistake for sure, though. They just dredge us. Nope. Tropical Island, Deathrite Shaman, sure. Dazed. Okay. think we have to get the crawler on board. We have to try and find lands here. This is our way of digging for them. If they've got a fatal push right away, then we're dead. Or a trophy. Trophy. Okay, we're dead. Colorless, colorless. Patches. Alright, can we get a workshop, please? It's fine. Workshop. Workshop, workshop, workshop. That's fine. They considering forcing this. Interesting. Workshop's still probably a good draw. So, make some stuff bigger. Presumably got a time walk, okay. I got a frog, fair enough. Land. Which one do we want to play? I guess if they find a land, a wasteland effect, they can take us off one of these, so maybe this is worth it. And we can attack with the one patchwork. They could pitch two to it, but then we would still kill them. Trade with the frog, which is fine. So they have to fly the frog here, probably. If they don't fly the frog, we can block. Yep. Oko, all right. Interesting. There's a Saga. Got a Patchwork. I think we just swing at them, right? So we swing at them. They have to chump block the big one. They take 9. I think we just want to attack all of them. They've already used their Time Walk. Alright, let's go to game 2. Still gonna be a tough matchup for sure. We don't want these Mindbreak Traps. They're not prepared for this matchup. We don't really want any of these cards, really. Yes. I guess we board in some forces. They're bad, but they at least have more text on them than the traps, which probably aren't going to get turned on in this matchup. We have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blue cards. That is awful. That is genuinely awful, but I did not prepare well for this matchup, so here we are. We'll keep that. So here, play a land, play a Mox, go for a Time Walk. Let's see if they want to counter Time Walk. They don't want to counter Time Walk. Okay. Urza Saga. Scrawling Crawler. They do care about Scrawling Crawler. Let's see what they do here. They don't want their Deathrite Shaman. We got a Strip Mine. Alright, they're gonna hit our Saga. That's fine. Moxen would be quite good here. Ground River. Just gonna swing. And we're gonna play a Fleshraker. Gets a force. That's fine. Collector, oof. Let's see if they want to trade their oof for our Scrawling Crawler. They do. That's fine. Good one, we'll keep that. Okay. forgot how this works. Maybe we go for the PO here. Done. So we'll cast this. Play our workshop. Play a Mana Vault. Tap for 3. Colorless. Yeah. With that, we'll play the Fleshraker. Play a top. We could spin top here. If we spin top and we find another top, we just win. Alternatively, we could play the Nettlecyst that we know we have, which is definitely the safer play. We have to draw 2 cards next turn, which is scary for sure. Maybe putting the pressure on is okay. I think we just do this. Alright, I think that's okay. We can hold it up in the Sink the Stupor there. I need like energy flux here probably. Energy flux would for sure kill us. It actually doesn't entirely kill us because we can still have the Glaring Fleshraker top Mystic Forge little package going on. But it would certainly be annoying. Demonic Tutor, alright. Probably Energy Flux then, right? Ancestral, sure. let's play the Forge first. We can get 2 things up to 7. And we're okay. I think we can just bounce their creature now and win. Alright. Good match win. Now for the next one. Alright. It's a lot of tops, but that means if we can find a Fleshraker, we win, so let's give it a whirl. Mox. Turn 1, oof, okay. That's not good. We can just F6 there. Definitely want them not to think that we have anything of relevance here. Probably means they've got a second oof, right? I think we let this go then. Yeah, let me lands. Play out our Ancient Tomb. We'll attack here. They got a Shaman. All right. They have no lands. Interesting. Let's play out a Lotus. And a Mox. Really hoping to find some action here, but they almost certainly have mana now. Yep. We cannot find a blue land. Blue land would be quite good. There we go. We got a blue land. Let's attack here. Fatal pushed. It's fine. take 2. Demonic Tutor. Alright. Let's try and recall ourselves. Misstep. Fine. Cancel and trap that. Let's see if they got a force. They do. That's bad. Not much wins here. Well, that could win. Colorless. And wow, that was really close. Alright, good game. Now we have to try and win 2 more. They know about the Mindbreak Traps, so that's bad. Again, we're against Bug. We don't really have any good cards for this matchup, so I think we just put in the forces and call it a day. But Bug's not really on my radar. It's kind of a fringe deck. Playing it twice in a row seems... I guess people are trying to metagame for the Lurrus PO and the Raker Shops here with Bug, which makes sense, but... not what I was figuring we'd play. Sure. Ardent Catacombs pass. Do we want to play the Crawler, or do we want to play the Nettlecyst? Probably the Crawler. We can always crack the Bauble later on if we need to, hopefully. If they play a Oko, that will change. Oko. It will change things if we... depending on what we draw here. That's a good draw. So attack. Spell Pierce. I think that's still okay. Let's see how this goes, though. Maybe I should have forced that hard one. I don't feel like we have enough blue mana in our deck. Oh, we'll speak of the devil. Lagging here. Unfortunate. Are they gonna blow it up? They are going to blow it up. So do we want to... Oh wait, they can't counter it because of Bauble. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. That's fine. So, play that out. Play that out. Play that out. That gets negationed. I think that's okay. We can keep open our force. Scrawler. We can play a Mana Vault. Okay. Green, black, frog. I think we want to fight over the frog. Frog could be scary. It's a good blocker. What did they pitch? Consigned to memory. They only have one card in hand, but they're going to get another one, so... So if they pitch all of their cards here, play Patchwork, And then we can play Underground River. And then we can play Kappa Cannoneer. And I guess they got a Force of Will. They got a Consign or something. They got a Recall, sure. That pings them for a lot. Scrawling Crawler doing work here. And then we'll play our Time Walk. And we got there. Alright. Good match. Alright, we're on the play this time. Let's see what we got. I think that's a keep. How do I sequence this? And then plugged in. Might have been a bit low for a second there. Should be okay now. Alright, thinking how do I sequence this? Kind of just want to play the crawler out, to be honest. And kind of save the rest. Then we lose damage. Let's see if this gets countered. Do they want to counter the Raker? No. Alright, we got a dude then. Alright, so let's see if we're against some sort of combo that just kills us on turn 1 there. Bazaar of Baghdad. Okay. We get some triggers then. Is it Countervine or is it Dredge? It is Dredge. Alright, we're in trouble then. You got it. They don't actually have a Dredger, which is interesting. We had an Oracle. Okay. That does stop us. That's rough. Okay. They got an Icarid back. No. That's not helpful. I think we just played as a land. No. Very interesting dredge list here. A lot of bridges. I think we're gonna crack our bauble here. No. So if we draw a top, we might actually probably have one more turn to try and find a top here. We can do some chump blocking. But we're in trouble here. For sure. No, we need those to have life, don't we? Blue here. Let's trap that. All right, let's see. Yeah, we have to try and find like two tops in the top. One in the top 2 and another one in the top 5. So, real unlikely, but we are going to give it a whirl. So, 1, 2, how many are there? Oh boy. 1, 2, 3, 4. I count 4. 8, 9, 10, 11, 15. I think I'm just going to jump here and then see how this goes. Yeah. And then colorless, colorless, colorless. One short, unfortunately. Oh well. Yeah, real close. Yeah, there's no way we can win now, I don't think. Yeah, we're at too low a life here. Unfortunate. That was a close one. We can bring in our graveyard hate. I actually think we want to bring in the forces to try and protect the graveyard hate as well. What don't we want? I don't think we want the patchworks. Don't think we want the Mindbreak Traps. I think we can cut one Nettlecyst and maybe one Scrawling. Actually, the Scrawling Crawler doesn't seem amazing because there's dredging here. Actually, yeah, the Scrawling Crawler actually seems pretty bad in retrospect there. Let's take those out. Try this. Ah, crap, we have too many. One extra card in here. Alright, let's see what we got. That's a bunch of garbage. Nope, we don't want to do that. I put one on the bottom. Alright, so they're gonna hit our thingamabobber here probably, so just gonna play one out and then we'll try and use the Abstergo Entertainment's also graveyard hate. So they'll probably force a vigor us here. Yeah. Strong hand. Unfortunate. You're just one shy in that first match there. Shambling Shell, Gristlebrand at return. Interesting. They don't. Oh, sure. We've got another. So they got to force the will here or something. No. I'll try and play around Vigor a little bit. Maybe. Yeah, I think I should play around Vigor. That is Graveyard Hate. We're just drawing now, looking for answers to that. Makes sense. Got a hollow on, pretty good. So we're just going to play that out. And our Patchworks can trade with the hollow one, but I think we want it to be one bigger. That's fine. We have our Abstergo Entertainment open here. Can exile their graveyard. That's fine. Interesting. We can't do both. This is not an artifact, so I think we just want to make Saga tokens. I think that's our plan here. And if we want to play the Raker afterwards, we can. Make a construct. Get a Vexing Bauble. And we got there. Alright. So we got 61 cards in here. I don't think the Patchworks are amazing. Maybe they are. They don't get hit by Vigor. I don't feel amazing. If anybody's watching this, tell me if this is dumb, but I ain't gonna take out a Patchwork. Let's give this a whirl. Alright, we'll keep that. Discard 3, they'll go into exile, and then maybe they'll play a hollow one. Let's see. Hollow one, yep. Okay. Ruby, Fleshraker, PO. Fleshraker on the bottom. Paradoxical Outcome, Ruby. Yeah, they have a Force of Vigor here. We're in a lot of trouble. Nope. Seven. Ruby. 3. Maybe I should wait and do this on their turn. We have another PO. Yeah, maybe I should wait. Telegraph that one. Do they got a Force of Will? No. They are going to vigor us. Okay. Nothing we could do about that there. Do I want a PO or just want to play a big Nettlecyst? I don't think we want to take damage. Can't play the Fleshrakers. We don't have any colorless mana, unfortunately. I think we do want the Mana Vault. Well, we have a win next turn, so we can play Fleshraker off the Mana Vault and then draw a top with top. So Sapphire, top, Mana Vault. And then we'll pass and see what happens. We didn't find another Vigor Green card, which is good for us. But they're going to dredge anyway, which is interesting. Yep. Alright. Well, we got that one too. Good match. Off to the next round. Okay. Next round here. So we are on the play, and we've got a pretty strong hand here. So we can go turn 1 Raker, make a mana, and then use the Academy to play the Forge. This game goes pretty crazy and pretty quick, so I'm going to actually just click through this one on this replay here individually. It's a wild one. So we got the Raker into play. Make mana. we play our Forge. And we got a top. And that means that we can play the top with an Eldrazi spawn, which pings our opponent, and similar to having two tops, we can just put it right back on top. I think I just played the Lotus for fun, but then we can put the top right back on top and keep going. And that's a turn one kill. That's just craziness. And then they scoop when they realize that's game over there. So pretty cool. On the play, just turn one win. Wow. Alright, game two. So we're on the draw this time. I didn't actually know what we were playing again, so I think... What did I do here? I brought in the forces just to try and be careful. I took out one trap, and I took out the patchworks and brought in the bauble, and then brought in the 6 forces there. But we're against, looks like, normal Raker Shops here. They've got a turn 1 Scrawling Crawler, and they were able to play that as spell 2 off of the Lotus here, so our traps don't do anything. But we've got Saga, one top Raker. Saga can find another top. Just spinning top can find another top, so we're not dead yet, but our hand's a little slow. We could use some mana. And the PO is not what we want there, so we're just going to play top. In retrospect, I think, given that our hand was pretty slow and they've got the Crawler out, I probably should have just led with the Saga. But then they have the Strip Mine, so it wouldn't have mattered. They go for the Time Vault, but we drew the Force of Will off the Crawler. We're able to live a little bit longer. And now we've got a Saga in play, a top, and a Raker, so that does present a win there, but they've got removal, and they've got the Strip Mine, so we're back to square one here, trying to find stuff. We got our own Crawler. We're going to play that out. We're getting close to being able to PO, especially with that Mox there, but they've got the Crawler, which is quite good against the draw strat here. Not quite Orcish Bowmaster level there, because they don't get the big token, but in some ways it's slightly better, because also it's just your normal draw step there, so a little bit more damage. And then they've got the Time Vault here, so they got this one. They got the Vault Key combo. Let's go to game 3. All right, we're on the play this time. I decided to take out the Scrawlers. And I'm not sure about the logic on this one, but the idea was in the mirror match here against the traditional colorless Raker Shops, their average card quality is better. I brought in Force of Wills and Force of Negations here, but on average they're going to draw just better Haymakers, so I don't think I want us both drawing cards. A lot of the advantage of Scrawling Crawler in this deck, and in the colorless one especially, is your just general card is better than your opponent's card. Like, a lot of air and a lot of mana index, and if you're just playing Haymakers, it can be good. So and if you're watching this and you play Raker Shops more than the one league I have, correct me if I'm wrong, but my evaluation here was we don't want this card in the mirror. I took out the 3 traps and the Fawn. I kept in the 4 forces and 1 Fawn here. And I brought in also the 3 1 blue bounce an artifact or counter target artifact spell. I forget the name of it, but it's a good one. Playing a lot of artifacts, that's one of the cards that I really like for this matchup. So we got a pretty strong start here. Turn 1, Ancient Tomb, and double Mox there. The opening hand was just the 2 Mox and the tops. The top's back on top, which is why these are tapped, and then we're able to play our Ancient Tomb then, but that lets us hold open Force. We've got Raker, and next turn we can go play Raker, play top, which is pretty good. Our opponent's got a bit of a slower start here, which is nice for us. I think a lot of this matchup is who's got the faster start. With the pseudo mirror here. We've got another tomb, so we're just going to play that. We kind of want our tops in our hand anyway, because we want to keep playing them for tokens and damage. They've got their own Raker, and that's a scary card, so we have to force that. So we play a Raker. That starts going crazy with the damage. I was going to play the top there. I think I just clicked through accidentally, so we go to second main and we start doing top shenanigans. 2 Rakers is just craziness. We can play a Nettlecyst. They do have the trap for this one though. So I think they kept their hand based on the strength of a trap there, but we were able to play around that. Mostly. And yeah, they just didn't have enough, and our tops next turn we're going to get them. Alright, so good game. That was nice beating Raker Shops in the pseudo mirror here, because I do think we're a little bit disadvantaged here. We're trading some of the explosiveness of the Raker Shops deck for the protection of the blue cards. And we have tools like Mindbreak Trap is good, but they bring them in the mirror NS after sideboard games anyway. And we've got the counter spell, the blue counter spell, which is pretty good for the artifacts, the 1 mana one. But we have a little bit less threats than our opponent. And then we have normal colorless Raker Shops here, so I do think we're a little bit of a dog in the exact mirror here. Alright, next round. Okay, on to the last match here. We'll play first. We'll keep that. It's a little bit of a tricky hand. Not entirely sure how to sequence this one, but I do think it's a keep. At the very least, we can Ancestral ourselves after the Lotus, and then play a Raker. Okay, if this gets forced, did not get forced. We don't have an amazing hand here, though. Oh boy. I think we need to play this one first. Maybe we play the top first. We can only get a Soul Ring. Maybe it makes more sense to play this one first. That way we can play Automaton next turn. Oh, Raker Shops too. They got a Grim Monolith. They got a key. What else they got? And we'll try and trap that. And they got a top. Okay. So we're dead if they find a that trap would have been useful a turn ago. Now it's not as useful. Player Patchwork. They just have the natural one. Alright, let's see what they do here. We didn't trap their top last turn, so I don't think they're going to play around trap, but maybe they will. Maybe they found Time Vault and they're just wondering. Okay. Oh, they're drawing cards. That's fine. And this is 2. I think we're gonna play the Forge. That'll make a token. Play that. Cast this. Cast that. Go smaller. And we got there. That's pretty good. Alright, so game 2. They know about the traps, so I think they become less valuable. I do like all of this though. A lot of cards. Too many cards. I think the Bauble can come out. What did we do last time? They've got Ring. Scrawling Crawler is a good way of punishing Ring, so I'm not loving taking those out. I think the Patchworks might not be where we want to be. If anybody's watching this and they're an expert or something at Raker Shop smears and they're not playing this deck for the first time ever, then need another cut. It's a lot of counter spells. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20. Not sure if we want both the negation. Maybe take out one negation there. Maybe that's dumb, but give this a try. Let's see what they do. I think this is the key. If they just go crazy turn 1, then we lose, but if they don't, then we can go crazy turn 1. Hoping they try and play around Mindbreak Trap. That might give us the time we need here. Saga's not a... Saga's a scary start. Fleshraker, sure. That means if they have... I'm scared about giving them... They might have traps. I'm going to try and play the crawler around trap that interacts with the top combo there. I think there's a reasonable chance that they're sitting on trap. And we can hold open and sink into Stupor here, so I think we just let this go. And that's okay. It's not okay, but... well, that's a problem. We're probably dead. Yeah. Scary start there. Okay, I think we have to go for this now. Oh, they got double trap. Okay. Let's see what they go for here. Vexing Bauble. Short. They got two tops, that means we're dead. Does it? Yeah, they can deal more damage to us then. I'll just let it play out. I'll show you, but we're dead. They can deal more damage than the draw triggers will do. And that'll kill us there. So yeah, they got us. Alright, I think not in love with the Force of Negation. I think on the play here I'll bring in the Bauble. So yeah, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18. It's iffy, admittedly, but I think that's okay. Let's give that a whirl. That does not feel like a great hand, right? I don't think this does enough. It's got plenty of mana. We can counter an artifact, but then we swing with a 1/1 Nettlecyst. Oh boy. Do they want to keep their hand? Keep. Let's put that one on the bottom. What do they have for Mox Jet? Top. Land. Hit the Emerald. Mana Vault. And I think we're just going to have to pass here. Just to not get trapped, but could bite us for sure. They just have a bonkers hand, which they certainly can. Go Saga again, scary. Or Monolith. Raker. We gotta let that go. Probably dead here then, we can't really deal with the Fleshraker. Let's see what they got. Outside of a garbage hand on their side, we are dead. Almost certainly. Three does not look like a garbage hand. Oh yeah, we're super dead. Oh, we're actually dead next turn because they got the double tops. If they have the top here, then we just lose on the spot. We've got a key. Yeah. Yeah. That means we're dead. Alright, so we're not going to get the trophy. That's unfortunate, but I think we need more removal in our deck. I think bit of an oopsie not putting actual factual removal here, so. And we can concede there, but yeah, we had a good run. Okay, so overall, pretty strong league, pretty happy with that. Bit of a heartbreaking end there where we lost the trophy match in 3, but you know, can't complain. In my first league here, trying out Raker Shops and putting a bit of a spin on it with the blue cards here, very happy with this. So we beat Bug twice in a row, 4-0, and they're playing, you know, Artifact Hate, Forces, 4 main deck collector oofs in these decks, and we were able to win through that, I think. I think that really shows a lot of the like durability of the deck, that we can actually win through a collector oof, which is pretty cool. Bug is, you know, known for being able to, you know, combat the artifact decks pretty well. It's kind of built to be able to deal with that stuff, deal with, you know, Dredge. But we were able to win those two, and I think that's a pretty big thumbs up for the deck. And we also beat Dredge, which was pretty good. We even almost won game 1, got them down to 1 life just by doing crazy Glaring Fleshraker stuff. I didn't quite get there, but then we were able to get the next 2, which is pretty good. I think having Leyline of the Void in the sideboard and being able to actually cast it in mid-game off the 2 black swords is just very nice here. And then we played against Raker Shops twice, and overall in games went 3-3 against it. Now that's basically the pseudo mirror, so I mean, I think going 3-3 against the pseudo mirror is probably where I would expect. I don't think we're that bad against the colorless pseudo mirror here. And we definitely have some advantages in that game 1 Mindbreak Trap. If we're on the, you know, we can trap our opponent, which is pretty good. We can also, Steel Sabotage their stuff game 2, which I think that's a pretty strong card for the matchup here. So we've got tools here, but I mean, a lot of the deck's still just the same. It's a mirror, and we don't have rings, which is just a very good card, obviously. And we're missing some of the interactions with like Manifold Key on top and making things unblockable. So the colorless version certainly has advantages against us too. And they've got removal. I think 2 dismembers in the sideboard. So this deck probably should have removal. We lost both of our games there in the last round against the Glaring Fleshraker side of things, comboing off and making mana dealing damage. And just not having a response to that, I don't think is really acceptable. So I think that's one thing I would like to adjust here, would be to get some removal in the deck, probably dismember here. So we've got other ideas for ways to try and tackle the Glaring Fleshraker Raker Shops mirror here. Let me know. There might be something else in blue that's an idea that I haven't thought of. But yeah, overall, very happy with the deck. I think I'll probably try a few more workshop decks. and some other ideas here. And again, you enjoyed the video, maybe put a comment down on some ideas you thought of it, or, you know, throw a like or a subscribe. That's also very much appreciated. And alright, see you next time.